We spend a massive amount of our lives trying to figure out what other people want, and usually we fall into the exact same trap. We just listen to what they say. Or worse, we try to put ourselves in their shoes. We try to guess how they feel, assuming that if we can just tap into their emotional state, their true desires will gracefully reveal themselves. But trying to perfectly feel someone else's feelings is impossible, and it usually just leaves us guessing in the dark. Here is the frustrating reality of human relationships. What people declare loudly as their absolute intention will frequently, and sometimes wildly, contradict the actual choices they make when the chips are down. Attempting to navigate your relationships based on what people say and how they feel is a system built on shifting sand. You might as well try navigating a dense forest using a map drawn by a blind cartographer. Let's look at a scenario. Imagine you pitch a brilliant, life-changing business idea to a close friend. They are over the moon. They tell you it's a guaranteed billion-dollar idea and that they are your biggest supporter. You ask if they want to invest $1,000 to get in on the ground floor. Suddenly, they pull back. They shower you with praise, tell you how much they wish they could help, but insist that money is just way too tight right now. Then, a week later, you find out this exact same friend just dropped $1,000 on a brand new television. This creates a strange tension. If your friend genuinely felt supportive and they spoke all the right, encouraging words to your face, why does finding out about the TV sting like a betrayal? That sting is the realization that the stories people tell and the stories we believe often fail to predict the choices they actually make. It suggests our reliance on words and feelings as data points is leading us to the wrong conclusions. This balance scale represents a core economic framework. Observe how people manage scarcity. Resources like time and money are strictly finite. Spending them requires real physical sacrifice. The television purchase proved a new screen generated more personal value than investing in your business. Simple math. This yields a consistent pattern. Observable actions serve as the reliable ledger of human desire. In the economy of human behavior, action is the primary currency. Talk, by comparison, carries very little weight. Now, an obvious question comes up here. If action is the only truth, why do people spend so much energy constantly lying with their words? The answer comes down to cognitive dissonance. When a person realizes their physical actions actively violate their own moral self-image, it causes deep psychological pain. So, to protect their egos, people construct elaborate stories and actually believe their own excuses. Your friend desperately wants the warm, fuzzy feeling of being a supportive companion. They just don't want to pay the literal cost to be one. People aren't maliciously running a calculated con. They have simply cast a psychological spell on themselves to avoid realizing they are hypocrites. There is an old saying that the eye cannot see itself. If it could, it would cease to function as an organ of sight. As individuals, we are uniquely ill-equipped to accurately assess our own desires. We are too blinded by our internal narratives and ego protection spells to read our own ledgers clearly. This is where an outside observer gains a massive advantage. Whether it's a therapist diagnosing a patient or simply a third party objectively observing someone's resource allocation, an outsider can almost always see the reality of a situation far more clearly than the subject themselves. Because the observer isn't trapped inside the subject's head, they are immune to the internal smoke and mirrors. They only see the raw ledger of actions. True objective understanding of human nature requires stepping outside of subjective feelings. You have to rely purely on hard behavioral data. This chart shows how to process human behavior. It's the rule of discrepancy. Whenever what someone says clashes with what they do, give priority to the action. And the larger the gap between stated intention and physical action, the larger the skepticism you apply. Anyone who demands you ignore what they do and instead believe the words coming out of their mouth is acting as a magician. They are attempting a behavioral sleight of hand. Identifying these behavioral magicians allows you to protect your own scarce resources. If you can spot the illusion, you can save your time, money, and emotional energy from bad investments. But this analytical lens points both ways. This economic framework applies just as ruthlessly to your own self-deceptions. Try running an objective third-party audit of your own resource allocation over the past week. Look at exactly where your time and money went, and it will tell you exactly what you value. Real self-improvement only begins when we stop listening to our own internal PR department. We have to confront the stark reality of our physical actions. Ultimately, we are not what we feel, we are exactly what we do. And until we measure ourselves by the economics of action, we are just flying blind.